Hi, everybody. Eamon here, and welcome to today's podcast from Pat Monk Presents. Today, I have a very special guest coming all the way from the US. We have Charles from BettrData. Charles, welcome to the call. How are you?
Thanks, Eamon. Glad to be here.
Great to have you. Great to have you. So, just before we jump on live, I know you're explaining a lot of exciting things that are happening at BettrData, some things about fintech and your launch. So, those of our listeners that don't know a little bit about what you're doing, feel free to share and bring us up to speed on everything that's happening.
Sure. So traditionally, we've grown organically out of the direct marketing space, really helping a lot of our clients ingest multiple second and third party streams of data, standardize that data, put it in a place where they can use it for mailings, for other type of marketing efforts. From there, we've really started to work with a lot of data analytics companies, consumer credit reporting, some large organizations in that space. And then the most recent one that we're very excited about, and an ICP that's continuing to develop more and more clients under our umbrella, is going to be the fintech space. And we all know that right now, having access to that fintech data and being able to standardize it and make it in a way where these companies in the financial and banking industries can use that data is more important than ever.
Yeah, and like when you're saying there's so much, it's being able to really boil it down. I mean, what's the main problem you find yourself solving for your clients?
I think the biggest problem is time. So much time and even effort for a lot of these organizations is put into developing resources that can ingest these different types of data that are often in encrypted, zipped, various formats coming from all disparate systems, and trying to put all that in one place isn't always easy. So oftentimes our clients are hiring whole teams of data engineers and developers to build solutions for this problem. With BettrData, we provide a UI that makes it where you or I, as more sales marketing type people, can very easily get in there, create these paths of data, validate, verify, put them up against other APIs they may need to dedupe against, suppress data, and ultimately give the client an end product that they can take action on and use the data in the way they need.
Perfect. And you mentioned earlier about fintech. I mean, what other industries are you working with at the moment?
So we're, like I said, the most recent ICP we've developed is going to be around fintech. We're also have a few healthcare clients that are trying to collate and marry some healthcare data. A lot of the largest direct marketing mailing companies out there. I'm sure you'd be familiar with some of our clients. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I think the one that's growing very fast is the data analytics, not just from a consumer credit reporting standpoint, but we're also touching into market research, trying to marry even types of survey data and other market research type data into BI systems. So that's been one we're continuing to grow in as well.
Perfect. And like working across, many different industries, like you're saying healthcare, direct marketing, fintech. I mean, how much does your website play in, bringing on new clients? I mean, are you mostly focused on outbound, inbound, and how important is your website in the sphere of things?
Believe it or not, I think our website's a little bit out of date. Where it's one of our big projects here in the coming weeks and months that we're looking for solutions around. But oftentimes, probably about 90% of our clients right now are really coming off of referrals. Within the industry, there's a lot of data solution architects, a lot of data solution providers that are consulting in a way that they're looking for this type of solution. They're being brought into organizations to solve issues of getting data into specific formats. With BettrData, that's automatic, and it's also created into a long-term pipe where through machine learning and AI, they're no longer having to continue to monitor a system that they may need to pull in data from. It's going to recognize that data, the format they want it in, and standardize it into their system.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, it sounds like you're doing a lot of things right, because if you're getting like 90% from referrals, that's good. That's definitely doing something right, because a happy customer will tell another happy customer, and that's definitely the truth. So with this,
You got it.
switching gears a little bit and looking at yourself, Charles, I mean, what keeps you busy, on a day-to-day basis? I mean, what keeps you busy in the
Day,
market?
Day to day on the marketing side, it really is trying to build out the accompanying use cases to the ICPs that we're already signing up. So oftentimes, as you do expand from 10 clients to 100 clients in a particular ICP, they're going to want additional information. So case studies, oftentimes webinars, they're really looking for the value to their industry. So right now, like I mentioned, as we've grown organically out of the direct marketing space, we don't have a lot of that material together. So oftentimes it's really us putting together the material, eventually getting it on the website, and making sure that it speaks to the value we provide to that industry.
Perfect. Perfect. And to switch things a little bit, this is one of my favorite parts, which is the rapid fire. So Charles, are you ready for some rapid fire questions and answers?
Sure. Let's hope I can answer them.
No problem. No problem. So, like, for example, what was the last book you read?
The last book I read. Well, I did go back and have to reread a Challenger edition of sales just to kind of get myself refreshed as I am rolling out a more Challenger methodology and a MedPick framework within the sales structure of my organization. It is something that, even though I've been trained on it for the last 10 or 15 years now, it continues to change and evolve. And really, for my industry, needs to be a little bit broader than where you've seen it rolled out traditionally. We are much more broad in our use cases. We can connect to any type of system or data, integrate with any type of system or data type, that it allows us to be much bigger than the traditional products or traditional ICPs I've sold into.
Perfect. Perfect. And imagine you're going back, you're able to turn back time, you're able to go back to your first day, your first week at BettrData. What advice would you give yourself? I mean, what would you do differently?
As I mentioned, just even speaking to that last book I read, really brushing up on how I wanted to roll out my sales training program for some of these newer people that I brought on. If I could go back and have read the Challenger sale before I actually developed my sales training program, I would have done things much different. Now I'm almost trying to go a little bit backwards and making sure that my team is up to speed on the categorization of these deals as they're coming in.
Perfect, perfect. Well, look, now we're thank you so much for sharing what you shared. Now that we're coming up to the end of our podcast, I want to give you the last word. So imagine someone's just after tuning in, so they've missed everything else, or what's the one thing that you'd like everybody to remember, that's tuning into this about BettrData?
If you're struggling with data, any type of data, including big data, BettrData has a solution.
Perfect, perfect. So thank you so much for your time today, Charles. I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot of value out of this. They'll definitely be checking out that book and they'll look into this. So thank you so much for your time, and everybody else, I look forward to seeing everybody on the next episode of our podcast here at PatMonk. All the best and bye-bye.